wanted to say to you, I still reckon a Yowie to win. Yowies are like reported to be like 8 foot tall in some cases. Those motherfuckers apparently
Hey,
built. Obviously, it's a bit hard because it's all hearsay. There's no really
yeah,
fucking study
yeah,
done on it.
obviously, but
But that,
that
yeah,
that's
like,
where I was going with the main difference.
like
Like,
from
because
what
I
from
tried to
what I've
look up
seen, it
shit.
definitely seems like a Yowie would. To me, Yowies just basically seem like they would have the same, like similar strength to a silverback, but then be more bipedal and be more dexterous.
Yeah, see, and all the things I seen, they like as big as they got was Wookiee height. Was
Mm.
like top of your head is the top of their shoulders, and then there's some that are apparently like their head comes to our shoulders. So you got short, chunky ones too.
Me and Brad was having a conversation about the Yowie the other night. He's just like
Because,
he's just not convinced that it exists really. I'm
bro,
just
just
like,
from punching it into Google now, because I had to show the missus what Yowie was,
yeah,
and there's some pics on there that I'm just looking at quite intensively, and I'm like, that looks real, man. Like, he looks real. It doesn't look like a fursuit. If it's a fursuit, they've fucking put a
spent
lot
a
of
fuck
money
ton.
into it.
Yeah, yep.
Like yeah, up to the like movie standard. Like,
Most of the questions Braden would ask are just your classic ones, like, "Well, why hasn't the government or anyone ever like really put much effort into search?" And it's just like, why would they? Why would they
yeah,
want to tell people and clarify that there's actually Yowies or
because they'll go out
Sasquatches
and
or
hunt
something?
him.
Exactly. Like, yeah,
It's the same reason for yeah, what you just said, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. Like,
all of them.
they're probably the same breed for all we know. Like,
Well, yeah, they. This is a weird part about Yowies and Sasquatch and all that. They appear to be all the same, but they're all over the globe. So it's like, are they just some sort of
see,
offshoot of human that was around? Are they the leftovers of some, like, some humanoid or fucking what's the guy? Are they just some sort of like a primate type thing? But then it's like, well, why are they all the way over the world if they are some sort of primate or you know?
yeah, that would have to be like a legit
Because we
great
don't
ape
we don't have any
like
other
us.
types
Like,
of fucking monkeys or anything in Australia. So
yeah, yeah. And that's honestly where I'm gonna say to me it comes to the whole Earth thing. Because after watching the vid on the other thing,
yeah,
they were making it out like a lot of past races that we say that we've hunted, they actually retreated below and actually had quite a like they had a I don't want to say a welcome because nobody's gonna just welcome refugees like
yeah,
fucking anything, no matter where you're from. But apparently that's where they fled and reside, and then because they're obviously going on the cabin system.
yeah,
And they mentioned the whole full sun in the center, but they're on the side of just massive, vast caverns and shit.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it got me thinking of the Yowie man and what was it? And giants and shit. Like, fair enough that they would just be like, nah, these guys are just trying to wipe out everything that's not them. Let's
That's
fucking
it. That's
bail down
exactly it.
here.
And with the amount of us that there was, fucking
Yeah, we were like a little parasite, like plague.
yeah,
Like we
basically.
just
And
fuck like rabbits and just
it
fucking
seems like whoever these Yowie people are would just like, oh fuck it. Like, and who knows? Maybe they are intelligent enough to speak, but we just don't ever get to speak to them because they just immediately
they see
attack
us. I'm
or
like,
run.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, fucking. Speaking of the Giants thing, fucking, have you ever heard of what's the name of it? I've still got the tab up, which is fantastic.
That
Uh,
doesn't surprise me with your 1,000 tabs.
this is why it's good to leave tabs open, man. Times like this.
Touche.
Uh, have you ever heard of the Giant of Kandahar?
Maybe not. What country is
So
Kandahar?
it's like in Afghanistan or something like that, right? And there's a story about these soldiers, right? And
Hmm.
apparently their whole fucking group just goes radio silence. They're just not responding or anything like that. So then this group of fucking Green Berets ends up getting sent out to go track them down, right? And these
Hmm.
boys fucking after days of walking, eventually because they get told about oh sorry, I don't think they get told about it, but They end up finding this plateau on the side of this mountain. When they get up onto this plateau, there's like a couple of cave entrances, right? And
Mhm.
when they're going up this hill, they start seeing like bits of clothing and whatnot from US soldiers and shit. So they're like, oh well, clearly something's going on here. Have they got ambushed or something? And then
Yup.
they get up to this cave entrance, and then apparently they're all standing there, and then this huge blue skinned thing come out, humanoid, like
Blue. Okay.
massive, and like with like a light blue sort of skin tone apparently, wearing
Mhm.
like big furs for fucking clothing and all that, huge spear. It launches this spear, impaling one of the soldier boys, and then
Yup.
fucking all the rest of them just start open firing on it. They end up dropping it, and then it gets like fucking hellied out. Like they take the body, and they have no idea whatever happened to the body, but thing basically sounds like it was a fucking one of the a surviving giant that was just chilling in these caves, and then fucking yeah, these boys killed it, and then the American government was like, yeah, we gotta
Hey,
sweep that
blue
under the rug real
skin.
quick.
I hope it
Like
was just like a giant and not an alien.
there's a really good picture. I'll see if I can find it. Send it to you. That somebody has taken from a distance, and like could
I
be
don't think it
fake,
would be
could be
fake.
real. Fucking, it's sort of one of those things where it's the internet.
In the middle. Yeah.
Chat.
It doesn't look blue.
There's a real dope picture that somebody's drawn of like a giant impaling this soldier.
Yeah, that thing's weird.
Definitely got like a lankiness about it, like you sort of would expect from what we've sort of heard about giants and whatnot. But it also looks very like emaciated.
Yeah, and yeah, he doesn't look like he's doing too hot. Like he's
That's
gonna
it.
fall down.
That's it. Like I assume if there's many living giants, they probably aren't doing too crash hot.
But like he does look big, but he doesn't look giant. Like just at the shrubs.
Or sort of, what do you expect as giant, I suppose.
I
The
expect my face to be in its either crutch or its belly button, and I'm gonna call that
you want to
giant.
see like and don't get me wrong, looking at that thing, it could definitely be around that 10 to 12 foot mark.
Sure, like not only is his legs bent, his back is hunched. So that's two areas where his posture is lessened his height. And again,
Depending
his
on the
head is
size.
hanging.
Like
So
it's
that's three. He could actually be quite big when he's full straight. Because here, if that's what country that?
Afghanistan.
Right. And those shrubs look like the fucking shin to knee high shrubs for us. 'Cause I've seen a lot of
Not sure.
Afghanistan footage. It
It'd be
does
good
look
if we
like
had
almost
exact reference.
fucking. Yeah, it does almost look like fucking Mexico.
Like, there's some other pictures that sort of claim to be the entrance, the cave entrance and stuff, but sort of hard to know what is actually real.
Apparently, there's a map on the internet that you can go on that shows like. I'm not sure what actual classification the vision is under, but it's almost like the terrain. But I was watching a dude on YouTube, and he's like, if you click this, you change it to this. He's like, it gives you essentially where the lowest points on Earth are,
Yeah.
or where just very deep points would be. And he clicks it, and then you can see the clear difference in the ocean, obviously. But then the countries, like, it doesn't change much at all. And then he's like, but you see here on each and almost every single country, there's just like 4 pixel square blot out. And he's like, these are holes with some of them have unknown depth or whatever
Yeah.
with what the map shows, or the map's not given data on where those black squares are. So this dude's just straight away like, these are fucking entrances, man, and they're just blacking it out. And I'm just like,
Surprise me. We
I
should
didn't
go
know there
looking
was.
one day. There'd
Yeah,
have
I'm
to be an
like, I
entrance
didn't
in
know there was.
Australia somewhere.
Apparently, there's two, and
Yeah.
they're near the center. So.
I've been theorizing for a while that fucking Ayers Rock, man.
Mm-mm.
Wouldn't surprise me
And
if Ayers Rock has an entrance somewhere near it. Just because what has never made sense to me, and I've always said, is when you look at an aerial shot of Ayers Rock, the walking track doesn't go just around it. It sort of loops out at one point, and it's
mm,
like, okay, yeah, maybe that could just be so people can get a bit more of a distance shot as they walk out. But I still don't understand why you wouldn't have a walking track that goes all the way around it quite close, and then have another one that goes out a bit. So if people want to get a fucking long
Yeah,
distance shot or something, it's just a
and
bit sus that you can't
yeah,
get right
and
up close to the back half.
Aboriginals, yeah, man, the Aboriginal elders with their sus shit, man. I don't fucking trust them. They're probably trusted to protect it in fucking our thing because the one in I don't know where it is. The one that's called Hell's Mouth, Hell's Gate. It's
Devil's
it's in a
butthole.
forest.
Yeah,
Um, no, not that one. It's legit. Looks like your classic Oblivion. I mean Skyrim cave. You
yeah,
got your cave, you got your grass hanging down, then there's a tiny little creek coming out of it. Apparently, a lot of tourists have gone there, and the whole classic no one ever comes out when they go back in.
yeah,
Apparently, that one is guarded. That's why nobody returns. And apparently, like, there's like ones that are guarded. The other ones that are unguarded are just decked in traps, like booby traps and fucking whatnot. And I was just like, maybe I don't want to go in.
the amount of fucking different races that early humans probably tried to kill off that just fled to the inner earth. They're like, fuck this. We need to like just trap up every
Yeah,
entrance so these fuckers never come for us.
absolutely, man. And that obviously led me into just watching Vietnam chat videos. But there's one I didn't know about was the fucking tiger something. It's the metal or wood sheet with the spikes and it drops down from above.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about that one. I was just like, oh, and from the demonstration that they put, they're spaced like this. So there's a good chance it's just gonna shoulder you, and the top thing will be like boom, and you'll be like,
Yeah. 'Cause a lot of the times they just design those traps just to maim.
yeah,
Because it was harder for like you to bring dead soldiers out than it was to heal up or to fucking go.
yeah, yeah.
With a
It
dead
costs them.
person, you can just leave the dead person there, take everything off them, and keep going if you want.
Yeah,
With an
or
injured
even just
person, you
leave their
have to
shit.
get a medevaced out. Therefore, you've got to fucking
Mm-hmm.
organize shit, lessons
Because
the morale drop and everything.
I was watching some. It was a vet reacting to the Vietnam traps,
Yeah,
and
sort of. It got the fucking sort of orangey, real short, cropped hair. Older dude, but looks like he's sort of in his early 50s, maybe.
I was with you until you said orange.
It was like a brownie orange sort of. I think I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched him, so I could be wrong.
Do you remember his name?
Nah.
Okay. Anyway, and then he, obvious point, he pauses it right on when there's the actual boys doing the medivac thing,
Yeah.
and you're just like, yeah, absolutely right. Fucking 4 boys carrying the stretcher, fucking one doing the IV bag, somebody doing whatever they need to the actual guy, and then the other guy providing cover as they retreat, and then to get them to the chopper, fly them like. And then what I actually really enjoyed was reading the comments in this guy's videos
Yeah.
because a lot of people would leave my papa, my grandpa, and trying to play the whose dick's bigger. But some of them you could tell because they weren't playing that game. You could kind of believe what they were saying,
Yeah.
like with the tunnel rats. He's like he said at whatever point in the video how they hold their feet and then let them go head first. He's like, my granddad was the guy holding the guy's feet, and he told me that the guy they were holding, when he went in, he just got shot in the face.
Wow, that sucks.
And he's like, so they just immediately reefed him out and then bing, nade in there, fucking, and then yeah, just flew it up, and then that's all the story that his fucking old man told him.
One of
And
the
I was like,
stories I heard fucking recently. All the boys over fighting ISIS fighters, and all of them ran down this rabbit hole. They all fucking the American boys chase them in there, get in there, and there's a sort of a room cut out, and it's up quite high. There's another cutout, but they can't get to it because it's up too high. Like clearly they went up there and then pulled the ladder up after them. So they leave, and then the fucking I think it's the Afghan army or whoever comes in, bulldozes the house it was connected to, fills in the pit. And I was saying that later on that night they could hear muffled explosions underground as all the boys just started to commit suicide because they had no way out. There's only one entrance into the fucking rabbit hole.
oh fuck. That's rough. Because you couldn't even use your explosives. You'd end up fucking yourself up with them. Oh, and speaking of war, brings me to China. Did you watch that video I sent?
I can't remember. I think I
It'll be
looked
the
at it and then
last
went to
one.
watch it and then just totally forgot about it.
Yeah, because it does go for a little bit. Yeah, it's a news reporter talking to a few bigwigs about the whole China scenario.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've stated they are willing to lose over half of their population
Yeah. That's so fucked
to
up.
acquire Taiwan.
It's because they've been waiting for this for a while and they know how many of their population has been planned to be expendable from the beginning.
But then at the same time, because of that, essentially, they can play the even longer game if they damn well please.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've actually set goals and announced them, like by what are we now? 20. I think they said by like 30, 29 or 30, whatever.
Yeah.
They want to be fully modernized, and then by 40 or 35 or something like that, they want to essentially match America, like
In what?
evenly
Like,
with their military might.
yeah, definitely not freedom.
Yeah, no. And they would mention about, well, China's willing to lose over half of its population, where America, they lose one soldier and their entire country's morale is fucking taking a blow because they're all about their fucking. Like he said, if let's say a carrier ship is sunk by a Chinese sub, the chances of protesters being in the White House after that many men are lost in one shot, he's like, right now, it's a very, very high chance that protesters will be like, peace, peace. And that'll put further pressure on the American government internally. Like, it's just like, fuck, man.
It'd
It's
be
fucked.
interesting, especially with the way they are at the moment. Definitely, it's basically like a Nam fucking 2.0.
Yeah, man, and that's why I was watching those Nam vids, because I was just straight up thinking, I'm like, man, we just need to foxhole that shit and fucking do what the Viet Cong did, just build mad network underground, and then we'll be laughing. I mean, we don't have the ingenuity and the what do you call it, the flora to build such wicked traps. I mean, we could build good traps, but not that fucking good.
It would all depend on what area of Australia, I suppose. If it was up
Yeah,
Queensland and all that, yeah, it wouldn't be too bad.
it'd be a bit easier. Yeah.
But yeah, over in the desert, you wouldn't be doing anything like that because there's no tree roots or anything. Unless you put
Yeah.
a lot of time and effort into it, then wrong. If we did put a lot of time and effort in, it'd be good. But we're a bunch of pussies in Australia.
Yeah, look, I won't deny that. Like, cause that's what got me fucking mad with the fucking, what do they call them? The rats, the guys that went into those holes in
Yeah.
because a lot of them were Aussies. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Aussies, whatnot. And apparently, the good majority of them were also 19.
Sounds about right.
And then I'm just like, guarantee nowadays you try and get a 19-year-old fucking to do that. They're gonna do it for 30 seconds and then be mentally broken for the rest of their life.
I don't think they would do it to begin with. I think a lot of people would just try to accept jail over having to go to the army.
Yeah, no, but it's the classic fucking volunteer trick, man. Because that's the good thing about the comments too. They were mentioning about that is they totally just pretty much lie about the jobs, or the guy on ground frontline base that gives the orders to the soldiers when they arrive. He hasn't heard news of what they're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
The next load, so he's just like, right, you're going to do this. And so this apparently most of our boys going down the holes were engineers, and a lot of nerdy guys do engineers because so they're like, fuck yeah, I'll be fixing cars and shit like that. And the next thing they know, they're head first into this fucking tiny little hole of gun and a flashlight, and they're
Oh shit.
like, yeah, it's that guy. Yeah.
I think I just imagine that he had orange hair. Just because of the looks.
It reminds me of how my old man looked when I last seen him. Oh, but I watched such. One of them was the military fails, and a couple of them were not what I expected. There was training videos, and the drill sergeant's like, "Now, private, why is your rifle not shooting?" He's like, "I don't know, sergeant." And then he's just like, "Well, private, you see, your magazine is upside down." And then he's just like, pulls it out, goes to put it in backwards, and then he pulls it out, turns it, puts it in the right way, clips it in, and then the drill sergeant's like, "There you go," like, and I'm just like,
Wow.
and the dude, he pauses it, and he's like, "I've never seen that. I've never even heard of that." And then he's like, "If you guys," and then as he's watching along, another one pops up, man, a totally different guy, different thing, and then he's like, "Why is your rifle not firing, private?" And he's just like, I, I don't know, sergeant." And then he's like, "You don't know?" And he's like, "No, sergeant." And he's like, "Have a look at your rifle, and then tell me, why is your rifle not firing?" And he's like, tries to look at it, like turns it a bit both sides, and he's like doesn't want to say that he doesn't know. And then his drill sergeant leans in and he points right down. The fucking chambermaid is open, and he's like, "You have no rounds left, private." He's like,
Uh,
and then you hear the private. He goes, "Oh, I don't know how that happened, drill sergeant." And then the drill sergeant goes, "You don't know how that happened, private." And he's like, "No, no, sir." And he's like, "Let me put it to you this way. When you when you fire," and he actually explains to him, and he's like, "Then you run out of ammunition." And then he's like, and then he goes, I, pretty much just goes to say that he doesn't know how it happened again. And then the guy pauses and he's like, looks at the camera. He's like, "Have you guys ever seen that? I have never seen somebody that stupid." This and the other fucking video. And I'm just like,
wow.
"No, no, I have not." And I'm like,
You know, somebody is just so fucking dumb when even they can't even pass in the military.
and
Like,
it, in the
especially in
comments,
America, I should clarify.
yeah, in the comments, they were just like, "Oh, this is what the drill sergeant has to go through," and I'm just like, "It should not be like that. Is
If you
so
don't
stupid."
even know the basics of a gun, why are you trying to join the military? Like,
Yeah,
oh my.
and they're a very simple fucking instrument. Oh, I did watch a sweet as one. It was 84-year-old World War II vet. Gets out on the range shooting sniper, and because he's never shot at 1,000 yards, and that's what he's always wanted to do. And they're like, "Oh, well, before you do it, we got a little gift for you." And they're like, "We know a company that remakes replicas," and they're like, whip out this Springfield, and he's like, "This is an exact replica of your Springfield that you had." And then he's just like pats him on the back and he shakes his hand, and he's just like, "Give me it, give me it." And then he takes it, and he's just, you can see it, he's just loves just having that rifle in his hand. And then they're like, "So we're gonna get you at I think it's 400 yards." I'm not sure what the springy was fucking doing, but anyway, they're like, "You're gonna see if you still got it." And they had professional sniper trainers with him, fucking
Yeah.
spotting and stuff and whatnot. And he's just like, "Yep," fucking takes the shot, fucking hits, like it probably would have been a groin shot, and then it it's like your standard human shape,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
it's got a metal one right in the middle. And then he's like fucking loads it again, and then just moves a tiny little bit, and then the second one just smacks the top of the center disc thing, and it's just like, "Pshing," they're like, "Oh yeah," start loving it. And then it comes to his 1,000 round shot, and um, they're like, "This one is like the most accurate rifle made to date and whatnot." And yeah, he's got it. He 1,000 yards, never shot it before, and then he sends around, and then it like smacks like it would have been the top of the target's head,
Yeah.
and then they're like, oh yeah, and he's just like, yeah, shit, and then he barely says anything, reloads, drops a second one, and then it just smack right in the chin, and then I think and then he does a third one, then it's like right in the middle, and it's just like, and then they turn around, they're like, well, the purpose of this, seeing if it's like riding a bike, and clearly it is.
Oh, yeah.
84 years old, hadn't shot his rifle since he left doing
Yeah.
service in World War II, and then
Fucking.
picks
Actually,
it up.
that strangely reminds me of fucking something me and Tanya were talking about the other day. And fucking the idea that I'd like to know whether anyone's ever done a study on it or not. But she was talking about
Mhm.
fucking like a set of twins the other day, and
Mhm.
she was like, "How one's gay," and I'm like, "One." She's like, "Oh, well, both of them are gay." I'm just like, "That's interesting that
Both gay.
both identical twins are gay," and I'd like to know how many sets of identical twins are there out there that identify as being gay, where the other one is also gay. And does that show that like fucking it just proves that even in twins, like it's most definitely something within the brain that goes, no, you're gay. Like 100%. It's got no influence from external factors or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
just
well,
like
they do say a lot of it is genetic
mm,
because of if it if somebody in your family is gay, you're more likely to be gay.
yeah, well, for sure. That would make
Like,
sense.
I think in a sense, if the way they explained it, if Tezzy was a guy and was gay, Bert would be most likely straight, and then I would be most likely gay after it. But then somewhere down the line, but the gay was in the female side. So Tezzy's got the homosexual, and my niece has got the homosexual.
Sexual. Yeah, for sure.
And I think one of my other cousins, female, pretty fat, has some interest in women.
Some interest in women.
Well, it hasn't come out, so they can't make claims about somebody else's sexuality. It's a what is it, a hate crime nowadays? Hate speech.
You
Fucking
think anything that makes somebody else uncomfortable, even if it's the truth.
yeah, it's so fucked, isn't it? Man? That's why I'm scared for the future. We need to educate the masses first.
I'm
We got to
only
start.
fearful for the massive war that happens. That's about
Yeah,
it.
that's why we got to educate everybody. Like the Chinese, man. Your government announces that they're willing to sacrifice half, if not more than half, just to take Taiwan. Surely that would piss you off.
Yeah, you'd think. Apparently not.
Like I'm gonna like this is when I go back to work. I'm definitely gonna be asking the guys like straight up, like, you guys follow world news? Well, anyway, even if you don't, what do y'all think about China? Your government, whatever his name is, Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you think about him saying he's willing to sacrifice half your population to take Taiwan? You still love China?
To be fair, it would almost be a good fucking deal. Half of China's population gone, and just to give him Taiwan. Ooh, so, you know.
Yeah, and that's what they were. The American government dude was saying. He's like, sure, they could like go to war now or within 6 years, sure,
Mm,
but they're gonna suffer heavy fucking casualties. He's like, but if they decide to go to war in the next 20 years, it'll be a different story because of the whole they now can have 3 kids. China's just focusing on building a military fucking might to
yeah.
take Taiwan. Like,
It all depends on whether we pull our finger out and stuff. Hopefully, a few countries just pull their finger out. So,
well, apparently both us and Japan put a fuck ton, excuse me, of cash into our military slash defenses last year and are going to be doing it this year. Like,
yeah,
we've
and the
just
fucking
been like, okay, time to
the
amp it
other
up.
week on the news, they're talking about how our government's getting real uppity about because they signed this contract fucking yonks ago to get submarines made and shit for us. Fucking this French company just hasn't followed through or something like that. It's been fucking yonks. They still
Hmm.
haven't got these cunts made. So
See, I mean, don't trust the fucking French, man, because apparently the French, like, and I knew this, but I didn't know this. I only did small snippets. Were fighting the Viet Cong, like, way earlier than the Americans,
yeah,
and they mentioned nothing about how they fought, how Viet Congs fought. The Americans asked,
yeah.
and the French were like, "Oh, there's nothing really out of the ordinary." Like,
Like
and so
minute
they're like,
falling into a punji trap.
yeah, and that's why they went in with such bold fucking confidence. Like, we got this, and
Yeah,
then yeah, what is it? Fucking like 15 or 30% of American casualties were to traps.
it sounds about right. Fucking, uh, I've always said that I hate the French, but
Yeah, I just disliked them because they were arrogant, but now I'm disliking them a bit more because fuck it, we don't need to tell you. Like, you find out the hard way.
they're basically on the brink of civil war anyway.
The French.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. That I didn't know that.
yeah. Because all the armies, like, you need to stop letting people in because you just keep letting in all these terrorists, and then the government and all the fucking socialists, like, nah, peace and love. We're just helping them. We just let them in, and then the military and copper boys are like, yeah, but we're the ones that got to deal with these fucking maniacs with knives and bombs and shit.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're like, you either stop them or we're gonna start stopping them ourselves without your fuck acceptance.
yeah, yeah. Just like a vigilante on that shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we'll see
which
what
reminds
happens.
I seen a video. Um, News reported it. I think it was either here or Melbourne. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was here. A home invasion, but it was like you got the front door here, and then the camera's like here. So you see the boys on the side
Yeah,
view when they come in. And there's 3 or 4 of them. And I'm watching it as I do, judging. And they're smashing the door. One of them's got a sledgy and he's just going away at it. You got a boy standing there, like they all got balaclavas. Boy standing there with a machete, like getting pumped, like. And then you can see another guy that's kind of like half hidden behind the machete guy. And I'm just like, all right, we got a sledgy, we got a machete, and I'm like, what's this third guy going? I'm like, I can't see him on the camera. I'm like, and then the news is talking about it, and he's like, as he busts down the door, he steps back, and the machete guy goes in, and then the other guy, he's holding like a fucking M16, man,
oh
and
shit.
like, so, like, I don't know, it was old, but it wasn't too old,
Yeah,
and so it probably wasn't 16 then, and yeah, fucking the news reporter person's like, and a fully automatic, and then he fucking yeah, he goes in after, and then the sledgy guy goes in behind him, and they end up stealing like 4 grand worth of shit plus their Audi family mover.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, what do you do when some guy's pointing a fucking rifle at you that you assume is an automatic? Like, you just be like,
Not much you could have done.
keys on the desk.
That's it. Once they're in the house like that, and some dude pointing a gun at you like that, you just go, "Yep, just take whatever the fuck you want."
Like,
And
it's completely
unless
silent
at some
until
point
that
in
door
time you
goes
know you
down.
can get a hold on that gun.
Yeah, like out of all the those kind of gun robbery
Yeah, yeah,
situations, they say as long as like you can grab it, you should be able to get it away from you before they can pull the trigger.
yeah.
But
All depends on what
if
you
you
got
have
for
to
munition.
move,
Yeah,
yeah, like if you have to move more than just your arm, don't do it.
yeah,
They're
for
like,
sure,
because
for sure.
yeah,
Then you'll
they
have
see
time
the
to swing
body
around.
before then
Yeah,
the arm. They're like, if your arm is down and then you just do that one, like you don't even have to grab it. You can just fucking smash it with your arm.
yeah, for sure.
But they're like, apparently, the moment your shoulders, your body, they're like, don't do it. That's when you will cop the. Like, and I'm like, yeah, all right, fair enough. Because I'm definitely way too cocky, and I'd be shot in that situation. Like, so I was like, when is the appropriate time and when is the time not to. And then it's like, well, yeah, one fully automatic definitely says something compared to a semi.
Yeah.
And then two, you got your range. Like, if some dude's like literally right here, I'm gonna try it.
That's it. Because you can go for
Like,
that quick. Just,
yeah,
as soon as you
and
can get it past that head, and those
yeah,
rounds are
and
just.
you could also move your head away
Yeah.
at the same time, like, and that round's gonna on a diagonal,
Yeah.
like.
Definitely. Yeah.
And most thugs, man, they get close because they're using it as an intimidation. Like, so
Yeah.
there's a good chance.
Chance probably wasn't even loaded.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, he probably just has the gun but no ammo. Or he's as dumb as those other cunts that has like the safety on or some shit like that. Like,
All I can say is this is why we need guns in Australia. That dude should have had a gun on the other side of the door. That way, as soon as he heard that at the door of the sledgehammer slamming on the door, unless of course he managed to break it one shot.
no, he didn't.
Yeah,
Took him
no,
like
very
4
very
or 5.
rarely that somebody would break a door down with a sledgehammer with one blow. It's gonna take a couple. I would almost
And
guarantee the person in the house would have been awake at that first one. And
yeah, man. And he's hitting on the lock side,
yeah,
not the hinge side.
yeah,
So like he's taken off the fucking handle with his first hit and been like, "Oh, I'm an idiot," and then started just hammering around near where the actual lock thing
yeah,
is. So it's definitely taken him a few times, and he's hitting the center of it. So he doesn't know how to break down the door. He's just going for it.
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, straight away, even if this other guy's got his fully automatic, and you hear the other guy be saying, "Yo, don't step away. I'm open fire on that door." They're either gonna open fire
I wouldn't
or
even
they're gonna
wouldn't even
fucking.
give them warning, Dip. Would not even give them warning. If they
Oh,
haven't
true.
yelled out,
He's got it.
they
He's
haven't
got a
yelled out
camera
that
too.
the police by now, I would get on the other side of that door with my
You're
gun
right.
and just start going pop, 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 pop,
You're right.
pop. Like,
You're right.
yeah.
I'd probably put 2. I'd just put 2.
Depending on how intensely they're trying to get in and how many people I had in the
And
house, I suppose.
yeah, and if that camera, if I could view it, so I could see who's bashing me door,
Yeah, but that's the yeah,
like
for sure, for sure.
straight away.
Oh, way fucking yeah, it's what you need. Little camera, little monitor next to your bed. That way, as soon as you wake up from that first bang, turn, look, see some boy with a sledgehammer. That's just some random
Going
looking
for it.
cunt. Yeah.
Hell, even if he's not random, he's sledgehammering me front door, right? So he said
If somebody's,
not
I
even
don't. Yeah.
announcing yourself, like, yeah, they didn't announce themselves, like, absolutely. And I think with the adrenaline too, I would have just pointed it at the door and just said, "Yeah," like you were
That's it.
saying.
I would have got on the other side of the door, laughed as loud as I could, and then let him have it.
Yeah.
Just
You know,
got out of
put it pretty
it.
close, kind of shield your face from the wood, and then move it left and right, point it down a little
Or
bit.
if you want to get real cocky, if you knew you're in a good situation, just sling that door open right in between hits, and then just fucking.
Boom, boom, boom. Because yeah, they would all shit themselves. Because old mate would hit the floor, so you could even ignore him for the first shot. Like, and if he's in there, you could. We need guns, fish.
It all depends, like especially in that scenario where those cunts have got themselves a gun that they're either willing to use, maybe not, but potentially are willing to use it. It's like, yeah, they're the
and
situations where it's like, this is why good people need guns.
yeah, and it's the classic. They got lights too. It's all dark in the house, man. Like the people inside were clearly just hoping their door could hold out because the
Yeah.
moment it comes open, you hear the lady scream. So she was already fully aware that
Okay.
door is fucking being hammered. And yeah, so it's dark. You just hide just around the little corner in the next room. They're gonna come in like looking for the best shit.
Oh
They're gonna
yeah.
go forward, like, yeah,
So if anyone ever does a home
take him
invasion on
hostage.
me,
Don't I'm gonna kill your fucking friend.
oh man, yeah. Like if anyone ever come in my house like that and I had the chance, I'd probably end up going to prison because I'll kill. I'll just easily just be like, yeah, I don't know why they're in my house. I just assume they're coming to kill me, so stab them all.
Yeah, man.
Like,
And that's kind of what I think happened in that other scenario video you showed, where that that we're going about, where that guy, they tried to invade his house trying to save that chick,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he ends up killing him. It's like, I think he's similar to me in that scenario, and he just went stealth mode, grabbed a knife from the kitchen, and he's just like,
Yeah, no, I would say yeah, a lot of the
and
fault
that's
in
what I
that
would have
story
done.
is definitely just sounds like it had to do with the girlfriend being a fucking hoe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, it's like, I probably would have stealthed those guys if I had no idea too.
Just
Like,
in that first boy would have been, and then fucking
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, those boys weren't there to necessarily do that much. Well, actually, no, because it did. You did say that they fucked him up for a bit.
yeah, and they were before they got in, they were yelling out they're gonna bash his head in because they thought he was a random. Because that's what she said pretty much,
Yeah,
that she. Oh no, so they went all detective and they figured that out how she got there and shit. So she thought weird shit was happening. That's how they thought they were saving her.